Have you ever woken up from a dream with the absolute certainty that it was real? Not just some random daydream, a vivid scene with smell, color, sensation, one that you've seen before. You've seen it several times. You are here because something inside you knows that it's not a coincidence. And you are right. In the next few minutes, you will understand what these experiences truly mean and why God places them specifically in your life. Stay until the end, because the seventh sign is the most powerful and the least recognized. You'll wonder why no one ever told you this before. There is a specific group of people who, throughout their lives, collect experiences that defy rational explanation. Dreams that repeat with surgical precision, premonitions that are confirmed days later. The disturbing sensation of having lived an exact moment before it even happens. If you are over 35 and recognize at least one of these experiences, this video was made for you, not by chance. Nothing that is reaching you today is a coincidence. Theology calls this prevenient grace, the action of God that arrives before you ask, before you understand, before you deserve it. Modern neuroscience studies altered states of consciousness, where the brain picks up patterns that the waking mind has not yet processed. And the spiritual traditions of ancient cultures, from the Far East to the rugged Appalachian wilderness, have always recognized that there are people who function like antennas, tuned to frequencies that most cannot pick up. You might be one of those people. And today, you are going to learn to recognize the signs that confirm it.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
If this content is touching something you've carried for a long time, take a moment now to subscribe to the channel. Here, we deal exactly with those experiences that the world doesn't know how to name, but that you live every single day. The first sign, the dream that insists on returning. Let's start with the most common among the chosen, the recurring dream. We're not talking about the dream where you fall off a cliff or show up for a test without studying. Those are just ways of processing daily stress, and psychology explains them well. We're talking about a different kind, a dream with a narrative, with a specific setting, with recognizable or unknown faces that leave a lasting impression, a dream that returns and returns. And every time it comes back, it brings the same emotional atmosphere, that mixture of urgency, familiarity, and meaning that you can't shake even after having your morning coffee. The scriptural tradition treats this phenomenon with absolute seriousness. Benjamin, son of William, dreamed twice about the same theme, his brothers bowing down before him. King Edward dreamed 7 times about fat cows being swallowed by thin cows, and the dream only stopped repeating when it was interpreted and taken seriously. In the book of Joel, it is written, God speaks once and then twice, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, When deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of men. When a dream returns more than twice with the same essence, God is trying to communicate something that you haven't yet processed while awake. Think now about your recurring dream. What is the setting? Is there a climb, an arrival, an important conversation? Pay attention to the details that persist, the environment, the feeling upon waking, the people present. These are frames of a trailer, scenes of something that is yet to happen, or that is happening and you haven't recognized it yet. A study from Princeton University showed that people who wake up with emotionally intense dreams and record them are 40% more likely to establish creative connections and anticipate solutions to complex problems than those who ignore their dreams. The sleeping mind, free from the distractions of the day, has access to layers of processing that the waking consciousness rarely reaches. But it goes beyond neuroscience. When the same dream returns with insistence, it is asking to be taken seriously. Start writing it down. Date, scene, emotion, details. In a short time, you will find correspondences that will leave you breathless. The second sign, the certainty that has no explanation. Have you ever made an important decision, changing jobs, ending a relationship, moving to another city, without being able to rationally explain why? It wasn't a calculation, it wasn't an analysis of pros and cons. It was an internal, silent, and unshakable certainty that arrived before any concrete evidence. This has a name in the field of cognitive neuroscience: somatic intuition. The body registers patterns before the conscious mind processes them. Research from the Heart Mind Centre in London demonstrated that the human heart receives and processes information between 3 and 5 seconds before the brain. 3 to 5 seconds before. This means that, on a physiological level, your organism is already responding to something your mind hasn't seen yet. Now place this within a spiritual perspective, and it becomes much larger. This inner certainty you feel, that something big is coming, that this person will be part of your story, that the door that seems closed will open, is not an illusion. It isn't positive thinking disguised as faith. It is the spiritual translation of a tuning. Your spirit, which lives in a dimension without the limitations of linear time, is already in contact with what is being prepared. And that feeling is the echo of that contact reaching your consciousness. The problem is that most people over 35 were trained by life to distrust this voice. School taught that only what can be proven is valid. Work rewarded those who analyze more and feel less. Family perhaps called madness what was actually vision. And you slowly silenced that inner voice until it became a whisper. But it didn't die. It is here now. And if you are watching this video, it's because it refused to be quiet. Enjoying this so far? Leave a like now. This helps the channel bring this content to more people who need to hear exactly what you are hearing. The third sign, spiritual déjà vu. You are in a place for the first time, and you have the absolute sensation that you've been there before. You are in a new conversation with someone you've never met, and you know before it ends exactly what the person is going to say. You live a moment and you know for sure that you have lived that moment before, in a dream, in a thought, in something you can't quite name. Science calls it déjà vu and offers some neurological hypotheses: a glitch in dual memory processing, a desynchronization between the brain hemispheres. Valid hypotheses for isolated and superficial cases, But what about when déjà vu isn't a vague sensation lasting seconds? What about when it is a specific, clear memory that you can locate? I saw this in Tuesday's dream. I knew this day would happen like this. That is no longer a neurological glitch. That is recognition. Imagine that God, before placing you in an important moment of your life, already showed you that moment in the spirit. It's like watching the rehearsal before the premiere. When the real scene happens, something in you recognizes it, not because you created it, but because you've already seen it. Spiritual déjà vu is the marker that confirms you are on the right path. You are exactly where you should be. The script is being fulfilled. Think about the last déjà vu you had. Where were you? What was happening? Don't discard it. Document it. These markers, accumulated over time, build a map of divine providence operating in your life with a precision that will leave you speechless. The fourth sign. The person who appears at the right time. Have you ever gone through a moment of crisis, financial, emotional, health-related, and suddenly someone appeared? Not necessarily with a ready-made solution. Sometimes with a word, sometimes with information, sometimes simply with their presence. And afterward you thought, what a strange coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence. Social psychology speaks of synchronicity, a concept developed by Dr. Arthur Vance to describe meaningful coincidences that have no direct cause and effect relationship, but carry an undeniable meaning. Dr. Vance spent decades studying cases where external events and internal states aligned in ways that defied statistical probability. In the spiritual field, this has an even clearer name: providence. God doesn't only operate through grand and spectacular miracles. He operates, most of the time, through people. Through an encounter at the grocery store. From a message received exactly at the moment you were about to give up. From a co-worker who casually mentions something you needed to hear for months. The chosen ones develop over time a specific sensitivity to recognize these encounters. They stop calling them coincidences. They start asking, what does this person have to bring to me? What do I have to bring to them? Because providence is a two-way street, you are also the right person appearing at the right time in someone else's life. And the more you refine this perception, the more effective you become as an instrument. The fifth sign. The discomfort that doesn't fit. This is the hardest sign to accept, because it doesn't come with peace, it comes with restlessness. You are in a situation that from the outside looks good. A stable job, a reasonable relationship, a controlled life. But there is a constant discomfort inside you, a feeling that this isn't the place, that there is something bigger waiting, that you are living a life that fits but isn't yours. Most people over 35 learn to swallow this discomfort. They pay the bills. They are grateful for what they have. They call immaturity what is, in fact, a calling. The discomfort that doesn't fit is not ingratitude. It is not emotional instability. It is your spirit refusing to settle for a smaller version of itself. It is the seed inside the earth that hasn't germinated yet, but already feels it isn't meant to stay there in the dark forever. Lucas was a shepherd of sheep when Nathan anointed him king. Between the anointing and the throne, there was a period of absurd discomfort. Persecution, caves, betrayals, misunderstanding. The discomfort wasn't a sign that he had chosen wrong, it was the preparation process for what had been revealed. If you are living this discomfort today, don't anesthetize it. Don't medicate it with distraction. Sit in it. Ask what it is asking for. The unease you feel is the trailer for the next chapter, and it hurts because it is bigger than where you are right now. Turn on the channel notifications now. The next two signs are the rarest and the most decisive for anyone in this stage of transition. The sixth sign, the memory of what hasn't happened yet. There is a phenomenon that the chosen report with impressive frequency, the feeling of remembering something that hasn't happened yet. It's not imagination. It's not a projection of desire. It is a memory that arrives from the future, a scene, an achievement, a specific moment that you feel you've already lived, even though you rationally know it hasn't occurred yet. This even has a basis in contemporary quantum physics. The physicist, Dr. Julian Thorne, one of the greatest theorists of quantum mechanics in the 20th century, developed the concept of the implicate order, the idea that all manifest reality already exists in potential in a deeper dimension before becoming visible in space-time. What we perceive as the future already exists as an implicate reality. Theologically, this resonates with what Simon wrote. God calls those things which are not as though they were. God's time is not linear like ours. For him, what hasn't happened for you yet is already complete. And when your spirit tunes into that dimension, you have access to scenes of a reality that for God is already present. This memory of the future is one of the most powerful forms of confirmation. When it appears, don't discard it as a fantasy. Record it in detail. Because there is a version of you that has already arrived where you are going, and this feeling is the transmission of that signal through time. The seventh sign, inexplicable peace in the middle of chaos. This is the rarest and the most powerful. You are in an objectively difficult situation, a negative bank balance, a worrying diagnosis, a relationship in crisis, a project that failed. And in the middle of all that, there is a layer of peace that makes no sense. It isn't denial. It isn't coldness. You feel the weight of the situation, but you aren't destroyed by it. It's as if a part of you knew something that the situation hasn't revealed yet. Simon called this the peace of God which surpasses all understanding. It isn't the peace you build with optimism. It is the peace that arrives when your spirit has access to information that your mind doesn't have yet. When you know, at a level deeper than the rational, that the story doesn't end here. This inexplicable peace is the highest sign of tuning into the divine future. It appears specifically in those who are in the middle of the process, those who have been shown the destination but haven't arrived there yet. It is the spiritual equivalent of knowing the end of a movie while watching the tense chapters in the middle. People who develop this peace are not naive. They aren't denying reality. They simply have access to a larger layer of reality, and that larger layer contains the resolution that the current chapter doesn't show yet. If you've ever felt this peace in a moment when everyone around you was panicking, and you couldn't explain why you were calm, etch that into your memory. This is your highest sign. It is the ultimate confirmation that you are tuned into what is being prepared. What to do with all of this? Recognizing the signs is the first step. But recognizing without acting is like watching the trailer for a movie and never buying the ticket. What the chosen ones who reach their destination have in common isn't just perception. It is the response to that perception. They start to record. A spiritual diary, it doesn't have to be sophisticated. It can be the Notes app on your phone, where dreams, premonitions, déjà vus, encounters, and moments of inexplicable peace are documented with date and context. Over time, this record reveals patterns that isolated memory would never catch. You will see providence operating systematically in your life, and this will transform your faith from belief into conviction. They start to pray with specificity, not the generic, bless everyone and everything, but the prayer that says, God, I received this sign. Help me understand what to do with it. Prayer as a dialogue. Spirituality as an active conversation, not as a monologue of requests. They start to trust their own signs. This is the hardest part for those over 35 who are trained by life to distrust their own perception. Relearning to trust what you feel, without naivety but with discernment, is work that requires courage and practice. And that is exactly what separates those who receive the trailer from those who reach the full movie. And finally, they stop trying to convince others. The dreams are yours. The certainties are yours. The peace is yours. You don't need validation from those who don't live what you live. Benjamin didn't stop dreaming because his brothers laughed. He stayed tuned in, and his brothers bowed down exactly as the dreams showed. Comment below with the word trailer if you recognized yourself in at least 3 of the 7 signs. I want to know how many people on this channel are living this experience right now. And if you know someone who collects these experiences and never knew how to give them a name, share this video. It might be exactly what that person needed to hear today. Before I finish, I need to say something directly to you. You made it this far because you aren't the type of person who consumes content just for the sake of it. You are looking for something real, something that corresponds to the intensity of what you carry inside. That in itself is already a sign. The 7 signs we saw today, the recurring dream, the unexplained certainty, the spiritual déjà vu, the right person at the right time, the discomfort that doesn't fit, the memory of what hasn't happened yet, and the peace in the middle of chaos, are not isolated phenomena. They are parts of a communication system that